Hey, Vane Lopes here from Off the Block, and the new college men's volleyball national media poll is out. Now I'm a voter for this poll, so let's get down to how I voted this week. Number one, I had Loyola once again in the top spot. Ramblers, they had a bye week, so no need to punish them. They stay at number one once again. Then at number two, I have Long Beach State. I moved the 49ers up to number two after their big win against BYU. The 49ers looked completely impressive in that match. Taylor Crabb is carrying this team. 21 kills in that victory against the Cougars, and he looks like a player who could potentially be the first player in almost 20 years to win back-to-back National Player of the Year titles. So I had the 49ers at number two. BYU, because of that loss to Long Beach State, dropped them down number three. Now, tough road loss for BYU, but no need to panic if you're the Cougars. They are still in a very comfortable position in first place in the MPSFF. And I'll tell you, it's going to be very difficult for our team to go to Provo and get a postseason win. So very critical for BYU in these upcoming weeks to secure that number one seed and home court advantage throughout the conference tournament. If they do that, you have to think they're going to be a lock for the Final Four. So that's the top three. Now, continuing down my ballot, number four, I have the Gauchos. UC Santa Barbara right now, they are playing great. And, they just do it ugly. They block. They dig. They force teams to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves, and they've been able to pick up wins this season. And the impressive thing I also like about them is they are beating the teams they're supposed to be and pulling off some upsets against teams that most people don't think they should be, like they did this past weekend, sweeping UCLA. First time the Gauchos got a sweep against the Bruins since 1988. So they're at number four right now. Then at number five, I have Pepperdine. The Waves. Tough loss at home against Stanford this weekend, but I'll tell you, the Waves, they're going to still be great. I think that this is a team that has capabilities to make the Final Four. When you look at a setter in Matt West, who's arguably one of the top three in the nation, and then you couple that with Parker Kalmbach in your opposite position and Josh Taylor on your outside, I really think that this is going to be a Waves team that's going to continue to get better throughout the season. So that's my top five. Now, continuing down my ballot. Number six, I have UCLA. The Bruins had a little bit of a free fall this week with all the drama that happened with them. Had another loss to UC Santa Barbara, but they were able to get a nice rebound victory against UC San Diego. And if you're a Bruins fan, don't hit the panic button. This is still a very good team, a team capable of making a Final Four, capable of winning a national title this year. They just hit a little bit of a rough bump. No doubt John Speraw is going to be able to turn it around, though. He's that good of a coach, and they have that much talent on this team. So I would expect for UCLA to potentially get a couple wins here this week and get back on track. So they're number six right now, but I expect them to be back up in my top five pretty soon. So now continuing down, number seven, I have IPFW. You just have to love the way, for me, I love the way the Mastodons are playing. They're running this quick tempo offense. Omar Rivera, the setter, is doing a great job orchestrating that. Spent the offseason learning under Lloyd Ball, getting that tutelage experience from an Olympian is paying off. And IPFW, they're 13-3. Yes, they're non-conference record. They have some nice wins, but they haven't necessarily played the most impressive of opponents. But you know what? Give them credit for beating the teams on their schedule. And you have to reward teams for doing that. And that's why they're in my top 10 right now. And it's going to be very interesting if they continue to get some wins to see what can happen with this team down the road in moving into the MIVA tournament. So they're at number seven. At number eight, I have Stanford. The Cardinal, they are finally finding their stride this time of year. You look at what they were able to do on Sunday night against UCLA, having almost more than a 500 attack percentage in the victory. James Shaw is showing that he is one of the top setters in the nation. And it's going to be very interesting now with Stanford. They're starting to click, they're starting to peak, but they're coming up on their annual 3 weeks off because of the way their quarter system's set up. So very interesting to see what Stanford is able to do here once they come off of their 3-week hiatus. So that's something interesting to watch towards the end of March. So those are my top eight. Now, continuing down my ballot, at number nine, I have USC Trojans. Once again, tough loss to Stanford, but this team's going to be fine. I love the way Lucas Yoder is playing on the outside, and you have a setter in Micah Christensen. They're going to be fine. I think that this is going to be a postseason team. Might not be a team that gets home court in the first round of the MPSF tournament, but man, I wouldn't want to face them in the opening round. And I'll tell you, this Trojans team, they're going to be deadly. They could potentially pull a first-round upset. Then to close out my ballot, number 10, I have the Anteaters. I'm putting them back in. They are looking good. They are finally finding the right starting lineup to put in there. and it took a little time, but they're starting to gel, starting to get some momentum, and they look like they are back after a rough start of the season. So that's my bracket, or that's my ballot for this week. Be sure to get all your news and analysis by going to offtheblockblog.com.